Hello and welcome back to the channel for another video. Although you may not be familiar with the name Kai Weiss, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, so if I butcher it through the entire video, I'm sorry. They are no stranger to controversy, and although those won't be fully explored in this video, their latest misunderstanding has resulted in maybe the most backlash of any of the controversies so far. As I haven't made a video about him previously, let's catch you up to speed as to who Kai is. Kai Weiss is an American YouTuber who has two channels, one called Kai Weiss and the other called Prince Kai, with roughly 20k subs between the two channels. The most popular video they've made was about Toby Majestic. I actually made a video about the whole Toby Majestic situation a few months ago now. Kai may be most well known for featuring in Omnia's videos and potentially the Creepshow Art series of videos that Omnia made that mainly featured Kai as well. Omnia, by the way, is a partner of Kai. Both Omnia and Kai had a hand in the Toby Majestic controversy and the Hopeless Peaches drama too, which I won't go into at all. And although it's not important really, I have my reasons for not talking about the Peaches drama. Although it doesn't really fit anywhere in the video, since the drama started, that I'm going to talk about in the next section, Kai's removed videos, less than 3 weeks after the video about the creator that will be mentioned in the next section. Kai deleted nearly 170k views worth of videos. I don't know if this is or was a coincidence. Kai has also lost 200 subscribers in the past week. Kai uploaded a video entitled "Avoid This Annoying YouTuber Akumu" on September 30th of this year, so not long ago. Honestly, I could critique this video for many things, mainly being the hostility that seems to come across, but let's actually talk about the content and leave my opinion out of it for a second. I'm sorry if there's not enough context in this video, there'll be links in the description below, but I'll try my best to explain it. In the video, Kai goes on to talk about the aforementioned Akumu, and starts off by presenting that essentially, Akumu is saying he's guilty by association because he, Kai, had minimal contact with someone who came out and said they'd done some bad things in the past.
What Akumu is referencing is this video that Holy Majesty just recently released, where he let some of his fans and longtime watchers know about his own wrongdoings in the past, and actually calls himself out on a lot of fucked up shit he's done. One of them being that he drew Cub in the past, and I think you can all understand how wrong that is. But for some reason, me interacting with Holy Majesty on a bare level means that I'm okay with Cub.
It then goes on to say this:
commenting on a video and tweet and shouting out a video of someone providing their voice to my situation. Definitely dick riding. But these unprovoked defenses of Sen aren't though. It's very cute.
I should have ended it earlier to try and get across the point of Kai's video, but within the first 4 minutes he mentions Sen a few times, which is strange to complain about guilty by association and then bring up Sen because he liked a tweet.
Because guess who liked the tweet? The lowly loving racist himself, Boss Baby Sen.
Seems a bit hypocritical and a whataboutism, which is a reference back to the Full of Pastel Bell video. This video really could have been a tweet by Kai. There's some decent points made though, I think, even if you're criticizing someone for being friendly with Sen, yet saying that you shouldn't be criticized for who you send a message of support to. I do agree that you can like someone but not like their actions to some degree. It will be a case-by-case basis, but the truth is, if everyone who messed up was just thrown away by their friends, no one would have any friends, would they? A lot of this video seems to be going around in circles. I'll leave a link in the description though, but don't comment on it because you can't. Comments are turned off. Yay! This could alternatively be titled 14 minutes of why Akumu thinks I am okay with Majesty's actions and why I'm not. It's that simple. Anyway, this wasn't the end of it. Before I go on, counting 61 tweets of someone talking about you while you're blocked isn't a good thing.
I did a search of your account for my Twitter handle as well as my name, and even counted the amount of times that you made a tweet toward me, about me, or surrounding something I said, and counted over 61 tweets.
I just don't know if it warranted a YouTube video. A tweet longer maybe at best. Given you say Akumu is reading your tweets, then they'd see it. You could also fight about the validity of Akumu having like 30 followers at the time, but I'm not sure it's a valid conversation. It makes Kai seem petty though when in that context. What do you do when someone makes a 14-minute video that could have been a twit longer? Do you make a nearly 40-minute response video? If you're Akumu, you do. With the video entitled "Avoid This Inconsistent YouTuber, Kai Weiss." Just like the previous section, this one will break down the video, or at least give an understanding as best it can, but as always, the link will be in the description for you to watch the full thing if you wish and to get the full context. Pretty early in the video, Akumu offers some much needed context.
Homie Nil and Holy Majesty were in a drama or feud with one another. Nil pretty much ended it by dropping screenshots upon screenshots of the cub Holy Majesty had drawn, something he had been in denial for about 5 years. I made a comment on his video pointing out the only reason he's admitting to it is because of Nil's video. That you can't change from something while lying about doing it at the same time.
And goes on to clarify things even further.
Kai comments on it. I made fun of both of them. I made fun of Kai specifically for his inconsistent demeanor towards Majesty. Here's why. Because me and Sin both made fun of Kai, and because Sin follows me, that must mean I'm a freak and I'm okay with Sin and his action. The irony being that Kai follows Majesty and both have repeatedly tried to talk shit.
Akumu then plays 4 minutes of Kai's video, I would assume for context reasons. Akumu then goes on to talk about the last part he plays of Kai's video before he interrupted, which was talking about guilty by association. As Akumu talks about in the next clip, he also says that he made a joke about the cub stuff, implying that Kai took it seriously, although full context is not offered until a little later.
In response to people using guilty by association, saying you and Luke were friends for momentarily agreeing, your genius idea was to then do the same thing to them, suggesting that they were racist for being on a live with Sin. In short, you did the same thing that they did to you to refute their point.
He then explains the hypocrisy of what Kai's saying.
Now, let's put that in context of this situation. You say me and Sin are cool, boyfriends, and that we're both freaks because we both make fun of you, and because Sin follows me.
And then some context to go with it.
But when I do the same thing to you, you follow Holy Majesty as well. When I group you with him, to ironically and sarcastically suggest that you're okay with it, based on that principle, to get a reaction out of you, it's then a false accusation, and it's this big problem, when I'm doing the same thing that you did to me.
This is where the context for the joke comes into play. Kai actually read out the tweet in his video. It was this. Bear in mind, I think Kai took it as a serious statement, and without context, I can see why.
Enveron didn't fold to it or me. He understood that it was sarcasm and taking the piss out of your own argument for the sake of pissing you off. And I explained this in this tweet.
Didn't you literally whip out the "you're on stream with the racist, but me pointing to you and Majesty dick riding"? You were quick to respond talking some shit when he made a tweet about my YouTube comment. I never said Kai is okay with it. I said it's inconsistent.
Akumu then calls out more of Kai's hypocrisy, which is what the video really boils down to. I mean, it is a response, so it makes sense, but you get the point. Akumu goes on to talk about Kai's points regarding how much they've tweeted about Kai, and how they're blocked and how they're obsessed and just want conflict with Kai. And they point this out.
You can deny it all you please, but you're obsessed as fuck.
So let's hear him out. If I have an obsession because I supposedly argue all day on Twitter, despite me being very inactive unless something fun happens or I can make something fun happen, Kai did the exact same fucking shit with Madlibs, Hartley, Sin, Skritus, Smart Alec, Steve DeLeve, someone named Jade, and even me. Several times, he directly responded to me while having me blocked.
Then there's nearly another 20 minutes of the video after that, and it just becomes basically going further into Kai's video and offers more context and such. Honestly, it's a pretty solid video as a whole. Not that I agree with everything, of course, and the last roughly 10 minutes isn't all to counter Kai's video, well, like at all. I completely just stuffed that up, but tried to save it. But my general consensus of the whole saga is that Akumu said something about someone that Kai apparently has associated with, and said something that was serious but wasn't taken as a joke or humorous when it was intended to be, which makes sense. It's a serious claim. Akumu's side offers the context that Kai didn't, and Kai didn't because if he did, he wouldn't have made the video in the first place because it makes no sense to. It didn't need a video. In fact, with the context, it didn't need anything added to it. I wish this was it though, because this isn't where the fall of Kai Weiss actually started. So just to really quickly recap, we have one video and a response basically. So if that response video wasn't the start of the fall of Kai, then what was? Well, this is where it gets a bit strange. What I was watching was actually a re-upload because Kai took down the video. Why? Because Akumu asked for a fight, or according to Kai on Twitter at least. Akumu said that he won't fight the copyright strike, which isn't related to the fighting that Kai was talking about. Because fighting the copyright strike involves giving Kai his personal information, but that apparently something is being done by YouTube behind the scenes, so hopefully if it goes Akumu's way, then they won't have to fight the strike or give personal information to Kai to fight it.
Fighting this directly would require giving my personal information and legal information, which Kai would then be able to get. I'm not handing my info on a platter.
This kind of comes down to an issue of the understanding of fair use. Kai stated that it was essentially done because they could, and it could be assumed, although not confirmed, that it was done because it wasn't in favour of Kai, although they did say it featured a lot of their video, which is true. Not that it matters exactly, but it could have been more precise on Akumu's end. There's a period where he plays literally 4 minutes of Kai's video unedited, which I mentioned earlier, and while it is technically fair use to my understanding, it seems like there should be able to be a more streamlined way of presenting a video like that. Fair use allows you to use footage for criticism and commentary. It also has other purposes, but they're not relevant to this. Akumu's video, despite how much of the video it contained a lot by the way, was fair use, technically. That's how and why things like reaction videos exist, for example, because if you're reacting to a video, you are actually using the whole thing, usually at least. Kai has been copying flack for abusing the copyright system, and I really don't know if it's a misunderstanding of what does and doesn't constitute fair use, or if it's just a way to try and shut up Akumu. Kai has since issued an apology, or at least that's how it's titled, but it's not an apology to my understanding. I watched it and I don't think it is. He starts off by saying that Akumu's video is a 40% match for its own content, which is interesting. I would assume the peers and others don't because it is taken straight from the video. It has no editing from the original footage, but this does not mean it's not fair use though. YouTube's copyright stuff does not constitute what is and isn't fair use. I understand it's annoying, and honestly I can see why it's an issue, but you've got to play by the rules. He also went on and debated Swan, which will be linked in the description as well. As I'm recording this, it's currently a Saturday night. It happened on the Saturday afternoon, the debate. Anyway, thanks for watching. I have opinions on fair use and such. I do think Akumu's video could have been way more streamlined and had more cuts and things like that, but it doesn't warrant taking down the video. Also, saying you don't like someone and then taking down their video isn't a good look, Kai. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. And peace. If you have more questions about this, I've watched the videos that I mentioned, so I have some thoughts and stuff. But yeah, once again, thanks for watching. Peace.